Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get going. We have 30 seconds left of free practice to go, and we are going to be jumping over into the race. It is just an honor to have all of you guys here joining us at Mount Panorama. I am your host, Exia, the league owner here at GT Meister Racing, as we are waiting for everybody to work their way around this beautiful track with 13 seconds left to play, and we get started here. This is truly an honor. I apologize for the delayed races where we didn't have a whole lot of racing for the drivers and for you guys to watch as well. So we are getting close here. The timer is down. We are going to be waiting for a few of these drivers to work their way around. And I'm pretty sure you can see on the screen there's a bunch of GTMR liveries. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We just had the release while ACC had the big update of the first three new cars: the Ferrari 296, the Porsche 992, and the new Lamborghini Huracan Evo GT3 2. That just got released, so that's definitely awesome to see those three cars released here for us. And we're just waiting for everybody to cycle through here and the timer to click over to qualify. But we also had three sets of liveries, GTMR liveries, for the community drop and become a part for the community to race. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the Aston Martin, the McLaren, as well as the Audi got released. So we'll be keeping an eye on those, and we're just waiting on. Let's see who is on track that is driving around, and qualifying is. Practice is done, and we are jumping into qualify. You can see Arduin and Carter Bennett getting out on track, ladies and gentlemen, as we switch over here. We're going to be cycling through. Let's take a look. Where is Arduin? He is in front of Carter Bennett, and you can see them in the new GTMR. In the GTMR liveries. Look at how beautiful they look in on the Aston Martin, as well as the Audi here as they work their way through here. So you can see we got Christopher Schuffler right behind. He's going to allow the Audi of what looks to be Mr. Munoz right behind him through. And then we see, let's jump down, Sean New is also running the blue GTMR livery. For the Aston Martin, he's going to have Tyler Farmer right behind him, as well as these drivers are going through here. There is a yellow on the track, but everybody is trying to cycle through. They want to put their laps in. Farmer's going to try to get his way around the track here, and they work their way through. Sean's going to allow Farmer through on the skyline through the downhill section. Very nice on that, as we see Arduin working his way on the downhill. So Arduin is going to have the provisional lap. We're going to roll along board with him on his first lap in cockpit view as he starts it. So definitely interesting to see the championship leader, where he's going to finish overall here in the qualifying session out Mount Panorama. We have 30 drivers here today, everybody, and it is going to be spectacular to see how these drivers do in this 25 minutes of qualifying. And the GTMR Audi is just looking beautiful here at the mountain. Let's take a look. We'll ride along board with him. And hey, Alan Zhu in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Zhu, the designer of the liveries. Awesome to have him here in the chat. So we're going to jump along board and follow the helmet cam. So let's see what Alex R. can do in the GTMR Audi. Down into the final corner and around the bend he goes onto the front straight. Catches a little bit of dirt. See, he sets a 2:01.7. That is going to be the provisional pole time. Let's take a look. Here comes Shuffler. He's on the back end. Farmer 1.3 off the pace. Shuffler 1.5. Munoz 2.2. A lot of these drivers are going to have to figure out and how to work away around their track. Matt Artin, he is in this beautiful blue Audi as he's working his way around up the hill. Matt Burnt 2/10 off the pace of Alex Ardoin, the McLaren driver. Definitely showcasing the pace with the big update as it came in. The Hondas have been nerfed. The question is can Farmer reel that Honda in and put it up in the pole position? We know he's a super fast driver, so it's definitely going to be looking interesting. Kevin New 3.9 off the pace. Sean New 4.9. Let's take a look where everybody is at. Some people may be invalidated as we see Chestnut and Aiden Hasselbrock. These two drivers have a very big time of seeing each other around the track. Tim Wilkins 6.1. Jade Russell, I apologize. He is 6.2. Looks like Aiden backed off of Chestnut. Here comes Chestnut down the hill. Coming up to chase the final corner. Ember in the chat. Farmer. Deleted Fox. Let's go. LaRock. Welcome you guys. Welcome to the chat. As we go through, we have 30 drivers. We are at the mountain. We have 20 minutes left to play here, and it is just getting spicy. Here comes Chestnut onto the front straight. It's going to put him P13, 9 thousandths of a second, right behind Sean New as everybody else is starting to cycle in. Andre Lloyd, 2.1 off the pace. Munoz still can't find something, but now you're seeing a lot of these drivers trying to cycle in to set a lap. Aiden Hasselbrock up a 10th as he's flying down the second front straightaway down here in the Silk Cut McLaren. A lot of these drivers with the new update also came physics and a tire model for those that do not know. So these drivers are definitely trying to rework their learning aspect on how these cars handle. But we're going to slide up a board here and we're going to take a look. Jade Russell, he is up 8/10 on his lap, working his way on the downhill with the Audi. The Audis are looking super fast here. Robles P10 right now, 2.5 off the pace. He is with the Jaden Munoz's team. You'll see a lot of drivers, some drivers running the same liveries. Big Nat Racing, beat it nerd, laugh out loud. Huge shout out to you. Welcome. As we see Mr. Russell, he is still up. He's up a whole second here as he's working his way down. See what he can do as he approaches the final corner. A whole second would bring him, it would leapfrog Tim Wilkins. Ooh, there's a little bit of a wiggle, but he's still up, and he does leapfrog. Tim Wilkins is flying, so Tim Wilkins can't check him. Now here is the LaRock as he comes through in the NSX here. He is trying to figure something out, and he puts himself P7, 2/10 back behind Matt Artin. And then as you can see, Alex Ardoin P1, Matt Byrne P2, Michelle P3, Shuffler P4, Farmer P5, Jashke slotting himself into P6. For that, those that do not know, Andrew Jashke is your Apollo season champion from this season. It's Mr. Parks. Oh, I apologize, Mr. Parks. For those that do not know, in the chat, Big Natty Racing 513 is Mr. James Parks. He could not join us today. He told me he gave it the old college try, and Mount Panorama is not his thing, and I fully respect and understand that. James Parks, for those that do not know and do not race with him, he is a true gentleman driver in the league. He is adored by many, and is a big father figure to all of us. He would say I'm probably lying, but I'm going to tell him it's the truth. As we follow along, Brian Katz, one of our few VR drivers, between him and Mr. Chestnut. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how he handles VR with that McLaren as he catches a lot of the dirt. But he is up 2.3 seconds on his lap. It shows that he was 12.9 seconds off the pace of what he originally set around this track. So that's definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least, of where he lines himself up. And in behind him, you can see that is Reed and Aiden Hasselbrock. And let's take a look. Are they on a flyer as well? Does not look like it. But we have some of the front runners. They are picking up pace. Shuffler sitting P5 with a 2:02.81. 812, and Farmer in P6. Farmer up 4 tenths, trying to reel Shuffler in for that top 5 finishing spot. So we're going to follow Brian Katz as he's about to cross the line and see how much more he moved up in this. He is definitely picking up time. Like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, the new tires is definitely throwing a lot of these drivers out, as well as the temperature of this track at 35 degrees Celsius is a scorching one. But everybody is picking up pace. Farmer now sliding himself into P7, 4 thousandths of a second, right behind Shuffler, as Shuffler is really showcasing that pace of that Ferrari. He is looking super strong. He's still up a tenth here in that green GTMR Ferrari. And let's take a look at Jaden Munoz slots himself P1 with a 201.472. Alex are doing 3 tenths back, and Shuffler jumps Michelle. So Shuffler is the fastest Ferrari at 1.2 off the pace. Oh, wow, this is definitely picking up. But Michelle, 5 tenths up in the Lion Lynx. Ferrari working his way down the hill. Can he keep it going? He's lost about a tenth, but he's picking up time here up to the hairpin. You know what they say, slow and steady makes the fastest race. 4 tenths on his time would slot him up by Adeo in P4 in that Audi. So right now we have Audi, McLaren, Audi, Ferrari, double Hondas with LaRock sitting up in their P8, and then Aston Martin, and then 2 Audis. So the Audis are looking super strong. And Mr. Park says in the chat, got a pull from a McLaren brother, Aiden. Aiden is definitely racing very well here in the series. Let's take a look. Where is Mr. Hasselbrock? He still has yet to set a time, but he is working on it. He's in the pits right now as Michelle slots himself P4. Brian Katz still improving. Ethan Reed, 3 tenths, final corner. Here he comes. He's trying to make something happen. We are just sliding up in the league here. Mr. Mohammed Irfan, one of our resident fast guys that we love to see here. He is definitely a true honor to have here racing with him. Ricky Scott slotting himself P19, especially trying to fiddle out some things. Ethan Trinidad, the Red Bull Honda driver, young kid out of Michigan. Really nice guy. Really nice kid to talk to. He's racing. He's probably trying to figure out how to wrangle in the Honda here as he goes through. Let's take a look. Aiden Hasselbrock, the driver that James Parks was talking about in the Silk Cut McLaren, with Casey Bennett right in front of him, trying to work their way through the mountain here. This is definitely going to be an interesting one. And the one thing that's interesting that the drivers may not know and realize is the fact that this is a 5. They start at 5 in the morning. So the practice of qualifying is on a Saturday, is what it's set up to, and then the actual race is set on a Sunday at 5 a.m. So Aiden trying to make it past Casey. He needs to set a time. You can see the frustration behind him in the McLaren, wanting to set a lap here. But Casey is also on a lap as well. Here goes Aiden right past. He's trying to get his tires warmed up. They're both on out laps, trying to work their way through. We're going to keep an eye on them as well as they go through. Zach Hendricks, America's Racing League and GTMR driver here. He's racing in this beautiful BMW. I believe he is the only BMW in the field which is very interesting because last season we saw a massive influx of the BMW, and now we are not seeing a massive influx in the BMW. Down the hill he goes, catching the brakes, rolling it around, down into the hairpin. So he's up a 10th. Brian Katz manages to get it down to a 209.852, up 2/10 for him down the further of the grid. So let's take a look. Ooh, a little bit of a bump out of the curve. So we're going to slide it right up long board with the McLaren driver of Aiden Hasselbrock as he's working his way up the hill, up 5/10 on his time. He's going to have what looks to be the Ferrari of Mr. Michel in front of him as they work their way through. Jake Johnson super far off the pace. Brian Katz trying to make something happen. You can just see that McLaren just definitely stepping the tail out of it, trying to hold it in. Here comes Aiden down the, a little bit of a light lock. You can see it in the rear tire. The car definitely trying to hold the weight as it works its way down the hill at Mount Panorama. Through the hairpin, out of the hole. Beautiful, nice and clean. Still 2/10 up on his provisional time of what he could possibly set here. His outlap was a 3-minute 52.550. I don't know what his non-time that he set on there, his invalidated time. So we'll have to see here as he approaches the chase. Through the chicane, avoiding all the curve. Ooh, get a little bit of a bump on that one curve, but he manages to save it, picking up 6/10 up to the final corner in the silk cut McLaren. Here he goes. Riding a little bit of that curve. P5. Ooh, jumping right there. 1.122 off the pace. What a beautiful run there by him. Let's take a look at some of these other drivers that still have yet to set a time. Mohammed Irfan in the Aston Martin working his way through. Beautiful run that he is having here as well. Let's take a, ooh, bouncy he goes. Let's take a look. He has definitely invalidated that lap. Ethan Trinidad, he is on a flyer here, 1/10 off of his pace right now, but he still has yet to set a lap. So let's take a look. Liam McNeil here. Is this a provisional lap for him, or was the prior lap invalid? Okay, so Liam McNeil we are waiting on, and Ethan Trinidad we are waiting on Dominant Square, and Mohammed Irfan. Mohammed Irfan on his out lap. So let's take a look. Casey Bennett, 4/10 up on the Ferrari. He has clean track in front of him and behind him from nobody to bother him in the Red Bull Ferrari as he approaches Skyline, catching the brakes on the 7 News. Ooh, the 918 is looking, dodging Aiden Hasselbrock here as he works his way through. Hopefully he didn't lose a whole lot of time, but he is up a second. He set originally provisionally a 2-minute 5.160. That whole entire 1 second will leapfrog him at least 5 to 6 places. But if he can find some more pace, I'm pretty sure he lost a little bit of it through Skyline on the downhill spot. He could leapfrog even further. Here comes Casey Bennett, super wide, nice and tight right there. Heavy on the brakes. Now it's 1.1. Can he hold it through up to the final corner? Just a little bit of the curb as he comes out. P13. Nice jump right there for Mr. Casey Bennett here. Let's take a look here. Andre Alex Afonso, the Lamborghini driver, coming out of the chase into the final corner. He's up 2/10 on his time. But this improvement will help him get closer to in that top 15. And it does. P15 right there for him. Mr. Artem here working his way on the back set. He is 3/10 up on his time as well. Matt Burns slotting himself P2, 5/10 off the pace of Jaden Munoz, with Alex Art doing P3, Michelle P4, Aiden Hasselbrock P5. P5, Adeo. P6, Shuffler 7. Farmer back in P8, Robles P9, and LaRock P10. That is your top 10. LaRock definitely trying to reel in as much power as he can out of that Honda after that nerf. Here comes Artem. Can he ruin it for the other drivers up in front? He does not improve. Ethan Reed, 6/10. This is one of your biggest movers right now, aside from Jake Johnson. When Jake Johnson's 5.4 up, actually Jake Johnson is one of the biggest movers. Let's take a look. Where is, LaRock getting a little squirrely in the back view of there. There goes Ethan Reed. We got 5 minutes left to play, 35 degrees Celsius. The track is super warm. Question is how's everything going to play out? Jake Johnson losing a lot of his time as he crossed the line with a 209.142. Liam McNeil with a 206.2, but that was invalidated. A 206.2 would put Mr. Liam McNeil all the way up to P25, right ahead of Bruce Hopkins. So here's Ethan Reed here, 6/10 up to the chase. Here he comes through, catching a little bit of the curve with that Porsche. P23, very respectful time there out of him as well. Sean New, 4/10 coming up to the final corner. Mohammed Irfan, a driver we were talking about earlier, slots himself P16 with the Aston Martin. Sean New sliding himself up to P22 next to his buddy Mr. Jonathan Piask in the Lexus. So right now, a lot of these drivers trying to rework what they can, and Joshua Piask, the driver we were talking about, up 3/10. Brings himself a little bit closer to Ricky Scott in that top 20. Ada Hasbrock, 7/10 up on the time, coming out of the hairpin. The 7/10 will reel him in super close to the top 3 drivers, with Jaden Munoz resetting pole and with a 201.030 here. The series is getting crazy, and it is just getting bigger and bigger here, ladies and gentlemen, at GT Meister Racing. Let's take a look. He's up 8/10 now. Can he find it in the final corner to get a whole entire second? He's going to run super wide. Woo, less than half a second behind Jaden Munoz. 4.455 behind Jaden Munoz. So definitely leapfrogging Bird and R2 in there, which is definitely going to set things in motion as a lot of these drivers are working their way around the track to get a little bit quicker. Let's take a look. Does not look like Liam McNeil is still trying to set a lap here through the final sector. I believe this is invalidated because it's not showing anything. Okay, so he's going to reset his time right now. He did a 2:10. He is definitely trying to get this Honda to work for him. He's got Farmer in front of him. He's got clear skies right now, so he can push as much as he can here in the Honda and hope for the best. You see we got Casey Bennett right behind him, and which looks like Mohammed Irfan as well. Tell me, what's your guys' view for the viewers? What is your thoughts so far in qualifying as we have 1:57 seconds left to play? Ooh, as we see the NSX snap a little bit on the back end, he's going to lose a lot of time there. We're going to ride along board Casey Bennett up a 10th on his time. We know he's faster. We know he can pick up pace. As he reaches the top part of the mountain and he approaches Skyline, so he can ride along board to the inside. That was the time that we had talked about that he was going to lose based on Aiden. He's gained the 5/10 that he needs to leapfrog a lot of these drivers here, and then we'll put him up against Jashki in that top 10. So maybe he can find some more as he's working his way through. And Muhammad Irfan up 3/10 right behind him as well. Here he comes through into the chase. James Parks in the chat says, look at Little Bennett sitting there in P18. He is sitting there in P18. And Liam McNeil manages to set a lap for P25. Congrats to him being able to put in that time to help him out there and put leapfrogging a few of the drivers there in the race. As we see Muhammad Irfan P12. Wow. 0.005 separation between P2 and P12 and P13. Andrew Jashke leapfrogging them to move himself back up to P12. And qualifying's over. We're going to be following these drivers to see who is finishing up and who is not finishing up. Right now, the big movers is Andrew Jashke and Casey Bennett. Casey Bennett found 5/10. Can he hold it through? He's going to have Liam McNeil in front of him. Will Liam McNeil move out of the way? Ooh, there's a little bit of a tap in the wall. That is going to be it for Casey Bennett. Jashke losing it, catching the curves. He has lost it. What a shame there. That is some stuff that they do for Formula One, which I don't understand because Formula One are for special people. Farmer 2/10 up on the track as he comes down the hill and around the hairpin on the back straight here in the beautiful black chromed out matte looking NSX. Here he comes down. What can he do? He's up a 10th. Pretty sure he could possibly find a couple more. Heavy on the brakes. Around the bend. What can Farmer do for us? How much does he improve? He doesn't. And that is going to be it. 325. Who's still out and about? And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Your pole sitter, Mr. Munoz, Mr. Jaded Munoz, with a 2-minute 01.030. With Aiden Hasselbrock, P2, Matt Byrne, P3, Alex Arduin, P4, Mr. Michelle, P5, Adeo, P6, Robles, P7, Farmer, P8, Shuffler, 9, and LaRock, P10. As we wait for everything to click over to go into race, everybody. There you go. There's the 5 a.m. for the drivers. Everybody's going to be freaking out here, but it is glorious and wonderful. As we take a look here, we're going to move along the grid here as well and let you guys see everybody in the beautiful night. And here's the inside of the pole sitting Jaden Munoz in the Humdrum Racing team as well. So we're going to work our way through here, and there's your pole sitter. There is P2 in the McLaren, P3 McLaren, P4 the Audi, P5 Ferrari, Audi, NSX, Ferrari, NSX. So definitely the Audis are showcasing their pace here at Mount Panorama, followed by an Audi as well. And then followed by an Aston Martin, Ferrari, the only BMW here in the P15 spot, the only Lamborghini in the P16. The highest Porsche that we have is in P17. Followed by the GTMR Aston Martin of Carter Bennett. Kevin Yu in the Ferrari, followed by Ricky Scott in the McLaren. Joshua Piasek in the only Lexus on the field. Followed by Sean New in the blue GTMR, with Chestnut in the Ferrari, Ethan Reed in this beautiful Porsche. Then we have the NSX of Liam McNeil, Bruce Hopkins in another Porsche as well. Jade Russell coming in strong with the camo Audi, not in the back of the pack, but manages to bring himself a little bit closer to the middle of the grid. Then we have Tim Wilkins in the GTMR McLaren. What a beautiful paint scheme that is, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Katz sitting there in the Aero McLaren here with the random Golf and GTMR and some meme clips here, as well as AMS Oil, as we have Jake Johnson here in the KXT 91.7. Very interesting how people do some of their liveries. And then we have Dominant Square in the back here with the 97 McLaren and Ethan Reed, ladies and gentlemen. And there you have it, everybody. These are your drivers, all 32 of them here at Mount Panorama at 5 in the morning here. The lights will be clicking on, and these guys will be getting going. They will be seeing sunshine at the start of this race, and it is going to be glorious, everybody, as we work our way back down the grid. It's definitely going to be an interesting one to definitely see how the tire pressures and everything works and how everybody drives. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your race for round 6 at Mount Panorama. I'm going to take a mini 30-second breather to go get something to drink here while we wait for everybody to go through. If you have a car that you'd like to take a look at in the grid, please let me know in the chat. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are on. The drivers are rolling out. Everybody is working their way down the grid. It is dark out. It is, but you know, hey, you can't race Mount Panorama without it being dark out, and this is going to be glorious as they work their way through. Some of the drivers to take a look at that is very interesting, where I'm super excited to see how they perform. And that's going to be Mr. Michelle. We've seen him in the past GTMR races. He showed a lot of strong and solid pace. Can he showcase it here now? That's going to be the interesting one, to say the least. Also, let's take a look here. Let's say Muhammad Irfan, he's back in P13 with Casey Bennett back in P14. Two drivers, super fast, very pacey. They could probably showcase their pace performance as well here. So that's definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least, and see where they perform here as they work their way up. Andrew actually trying to figure out how to turn on the lights here using everybody else's as they work their way through the grid. Let's take a look. Who is a big mover that we may be seeing that's possible that could make some big moves? Mr. Bruce Hopkins, as he works his way around the grid as well in that beautiful Porsche. The Porsche definitely going to try to make something happen here in this race. Can he move up the grid and be able to succeed? That's definitely going to be the big question that everybody's going to want to know in this race here as the cars are working their way around the grid. As well as Farmer here in the P8 in the Honda NSX. The thing is the race is going to be long, it's going to be enduring, and it's going to push the drivers to the limit. The question is, you know, can they handle it here on this racetrack, especially here at night? It's definitely going to be a really tough one, but hey, These drivers know what they need to do to perform and succeed. And here they go. They are warming up their tires. They are trying to get the pace going and set right as these drivers work their way through. So this is definitely going to be an exciting race, to say the least. The long wait as we see Jaden Budos just slowing up the grid as he's just trying to get his brakes warmed up to get started here in this race. This is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm super happy to have you guys all here with me as we get started in this race. Ooh, I apologize. Matt Artem is running his new race with all new gear plus the update. He is running a brand new DD system, so that is definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least, to see how well he performs here as we start to see the drivers lining themselves up here as they approach the final corner. It's getting ready, back and ready to race here, ladies and gentlemen. This is definitely going to be a big one. Here we go, and around the final corner, the drivers are lining themselves up. We are back to racing, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go. You can see the little bit of a mix-up in the background here, down into turn one. Here they go through. Oh, a little bit of a tap here on the dirt. They are starting to work their way through. Will they single file themselves here as they work their way down the grid here on the back straight here? You can see everybody working their magic and trying to make something happen here. LaRock, Jashke in the background here as they come up to the fast right-hander. Here they go around the bend. Jashke going super wide. LaRock on the inside here, catching a little bit of the curb as they focus through, and they work their way up the hill. LaRock and Jashke trying to go side by side into the hairpin. What a beautiful shot, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are just spectacular here as they work their way through here. Up the hill they go, catching a little bit of the curbing here. You can see some of the drivers catching it as they work their way through. Jaden Munoz still out in P1. He's trying to make something happen, but he's got Aiden Hasselbrock all over him as they approach Skyline on the downhill. Aiden Hasselbrock trying to not let Munoz pull away here. Jaden Munoz probably has the setup perfect for a warm track as they work through number 69 car in the yellow as they work their way down the hill here. Beautiful as Michelle and Jared Michelle leapfrogging what looks to be Jared Addo, as well as we have Santiago Robes and Alex Ardoin. Alex Ardoin, the championship leader, trying everything he can possibly do to make up ground here as LaRock gets Jashke. Jashke looks like he lost out a lot on the track here, so that's definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least. While the rest of the grid is flying down this track, everybody now starting to single file themselves through and cycle their way through the grid here. Beautiful start by everybody as they go through the grid here. It is a long race. Ethan Reed having to opt out of that thing. Looks like he missed his braking point possibly, and is going to have to give up a bunch of positions here for some of these drivers on the back end side of the grid here as they go through. Chestnut definitely falling a little bit behind here as they work their way through. We're going to fly our way back up into the front of the grid. Munoz now separating himself from Aiden Hasselbrock with Matt Byrne. Matt Byrne now being under attack by Jacob Michelle here around into turn two here as they work their way up the hill. He's going to have Jared Adeo right behind him in the Audi, followed by Alex Ardoin in the other Audi as they work their way up the grid. You can see a little bit of a swirling out of Matt Byrne. The Audis are attacking the McLarens. Here they go through. Can they hold through? Farmer on the outside looking in at Jared Adeo, trying to see where Mr. Michelle is going to do as we work our way through. Casey Bennett slots him. He's up to P12 now, right behind Matt Artem in the P11 spot with Mohammed Irfan right behind him as they go through the grid here as well. Ricky Scott still in the P20 spot in the nighttime as he works his way through. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me what your thoughts at the start of the action. Number 51. Ooh, look, Ricky Scott gets a little bit of damage. He's going to pull off over by Skyline, ladies and gentlemen. As they work their way down the hill, Irfan, Casey Bennett, nose to tail. They've caught up to Matt Artem. Irfan catches the wall a little bit. There's going to be damage. This is definitely going to play into the pit strategy of everybody. There's going to be damage on the cars as they work their way through the grid. Here they go. Casey Bennett trying to do what he can to keep up with Matt Artem in that top 10 as they work their way through the grid. Joshua Piask right behind Kevin Yu. The Lexus, the motor of the Lexus catching a little bit of the sparks, heavy into the braking zone. Will Joshua hold it? Ooh, the door gets partially closed. He makes it stick right around Kevin Yu. He makes it beautiful. The Wonder Bread Lexus looking super racy with the Ricky Bobby as he goes through. Beautiful run by him as well. As we see Chestnut going through, he's going to be all over the back end of the Aston Martin of Sean New as they work their way through this grid. Tim Wilkins is going to have Ethan Trinidad right behind him as they work their way onto the front street. Ethan Trinidad taking a look on the inside, possibly outside. Nope, he checks up right behind him. We're going to fly our way right back up here. Aiden Hasselbrock still hasn't given up on Jaden Munoz here in this race. That's the big question, is how much can he hold on to that with Jacob Michel, the Ferrari driver, right behind Matt Byrne on the uphill here as they run a little bit of the curbing here through the bend. Ooh, beautiful run. Ooh, Byrne going super wide. We are only 5 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to lose my voice with 15 minutes into the 5 a.m. start. So around 5:30-ish a.m. or aka 6 a.m.-ish, around there, in between that time, the sunlight will come up as this battle keeps developing here. As we're going to jump down with Mr. Farmer. Farmer trying to work his magic with this all-black NSX with the beautiful, I will say, neon green highlights. I kind of like that. As they go through here, Shuffler looking beautiful in the green GTMR as he is trying to chase down his little master protege that has taught him a lot in that NSX as he's working his way through here as well. As we see Matt Artem and Casey Bennett. Bennett now leapfrogging Artem. He is in that top 10 spot and he's chasing down LaRock in the NSX. The Ferrari duo of Shuffler and Casey Bennett. Both guys relying heavily on setups earlier today, trying to work their way through the 325 car. That's going to be Liam McNeil losing it a little bit there on the downhill into the hairpin. Shame there for him. Hopefully he can hold it through here in this race as we see Casey Bennett trying to make it stick with him. It looks like we have a little bit of issue through the chase. The number 67 car here as they come through. Looks like Joshua Piask. Oh, he went off the track. He's going to have to allow all these guys through here and then try to make up the time here in the race of Mount Panorama. It is definitely a tough race, to say the least, for these drivers here as we see Kevin Yu, Bruce Hopkins, Jade Russell, Andrew Jashke, Ethan Trinidad, Alex Ardoin, the 51 car. Looks like he lost a lot of time, but he's now going to be attacked by Tim Wilkins as they chase each other down here in this race. But we're going to slide our way back up here, and we're going to see, Casey Bennett got past LaRock here, probably down the back straight with that gold highlight rim on that Ferrari. Casey Bennett definitely racing for justice. He wants to showcase he has the pace to be in that top tier here in GTMR, and he is definitely showcasing that pace in the Ferrari. He has told me he was a little upset with how the car was performing. Bruce Hopkins is going to be diving in the pits here early, way before the pit strategy, so hopefully he can get his car fixed and reworked here as well. So we take a look here, Casey Bennett. Let's see, LaRock is falling behind in that NSX. He's trying to make up everything that he possibly can with Mohammed Irfan in that P12 spot. Jaden Munoz up 4/10 on his time, but he is still not letting Aiden Hasselbrock still not letting Jaden Munoz go away. Mr. Michel has gotten past Matt Byrne, Michelle in the Ferrari, trying to push as hard as he possibly can as the grid now starting to slow up and separate themselves. Now you're going to start seeing the drivers now making a little bit of spacing here on this track here as well. Wow, Aiden Hasselbrock now trying everything he possibly can not to let Jaden Munoz in that Audi separate himself here. Let's take a look. What else do we have here? We do. We have Shuffler, Bennett. They are now freight train. They have Farmer in front of him. Shuffler now less than a second behind him as well. He is going to try everything he can to reel in that Ferrari, in that Honda, the best that he can. The track is actually getting a little bit warmer. It went up 1 degree Celsius, so I'm curious on how much that's going to play a factor into the tires of everybody as we see Mr. Hendricks P13 as they come through here. Beautiful shots by all of these cars. Let's take a look. Mr. Little Carter Bennett here. He is sitting there P15, managed to move up 3 spots from where he qualified. So he's definitely moving his way. Ethan Trinidad and what looks to be Tim Wilkins, they're battling it out. Joshua Piask making a few moves here as well. So a lot of these drivers still not out, and they are pushing the best that they possibly can to work their way through the grid here. So huge shout out to them just sticking it through for this race to see what they can do here as well. So here we have Robes, and it looks like Farmer lost. Oh no, there's Farmer. He's got Shuffler right behind him. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Shuffler getting the window. The pit window is open, everybody. The 69 car of Brian Katz loses it. Oh, Shuffler. Oh, is Shuffler going to send it on the inside? He checks. He doesn't make the move, but he's looking on Farmer. Farmer going super wide, catching the dirt. Here goes Shuffler. Farmer's going to concede the position for Shuffler. Now here comes Casey Bennett. Casey Bennett all over in the back end of Season 4 champion. Farmer around the outside as they approach into turn 1. Farmer is definitely going to have to put the pressure on Casey Bennett. He's going to make him work. Oh, a little bit of a door tap right there, ladies and gentlemen. These drivers are pushing it at the nighttime. Please let me know, for the viewers that are watching, what is going on mentally. Are you losing it just as much as I am? Because if you are, get ready. It's just about to get a lot more spicier. As we see the drivers working here, Casey Bennett takes a look on the inside, checks out of it, sits right behind Farmer. He's not going to make the move. 2 fast laps set by Aiden Hasselbrock and Mr. Jacob Michelle. Interesting there. It looks like the fastest lap. Ooh, the best lap. They tied fastest lap. Aiden Hasselbrock and Jacob Michelle tied with a 2-minute 2.072. Beautiful laps by these drivers as they work their way through and down the grid. Alex Arduin dives into the pits, so he is definitely going to be fixing some things early here in this race in hopes. Andre Lloyd, a driver who is having issues with his Porsche, trying to get it set up. He is sitting there in P16 working his way up the grid, so huge shout out to him to be able to manage. Ooh, there's Casey Bennett. Commentator curse on Casey Bennett as he is sitting there on the pit. Hopefully he can get his way through. I know he's probably really upset right now. That is not what he wants to do as he's jumped back into the pits here. Let's take a look. Who do we have? That's a big battle down the grid. So we see Jade Russ. Oh, big tap out of what I believe Tim Wilkins in that GTMR McLaren. Big tap right there at the nighttime as he's working his way through. Joshua Piask trying to hold that Lexus in the best that he can as we see Chestnut here. Jake Johnson still in the pits. Andrew Jaschke looks like he's fixing his car. Casey Bennett looking like he's fixing his car. And Liam McNeilis looks like they are fixing his car. Looks like Alex Arduin is out of the pits. He has served it. He is going for the long haul strategy here, ladies and gentlemen. So he came out right behind 1 and 2. So that is definitely going to be an interesting fight, to say the least. And it looks like Aiden Hasselbrock reset fastest lap with a 2:01.985. As James Park says in the chats, I would have died on the first tournament, sitting in the pits, laugh out loud. But at least you would have tried up to turn 1, James. That's what counts. That is what counts. As we see the McLaren driver of Aiden being supported by James Parks in the chat. Nose to tail, 1-2 coming up to Skyline here. They work their way down the hill here at Mount Panorama. He is really put. Oh, Alex Arduin loses it on the Skyline downhill. Oh. Oh, that was a do. That was a Deo. Did a Deo lose it, or was that looked like Alex Arduin? Oh, he did reset to the pits. Oh, what a shame there. We're going to get back into this here. Ladies and gentlemen, nose to tail, they are flying. Matt Byrne also on the back end of Jacob Michelle. Oh, there's a little bit of bump and running here as they work their way through. Oh, down into Chase. Byrne sends it deep. Michelle loses it. They both spin out. Ooh, here they go through. They're going to have to wait for the grid to get through. Byrne is moving along. And here goes Robes as they work their way through. Yeah, it looks like to be a little bit of a racing incident. They went side by side. Looked like Michelle tried to get on the throttle a little bit too soon. And the back end spun out. Aiden harnessing his inner silk cut for the Mount Panorama Mountain as he is trying to work his way up the grid the best that he possibly can. Let's take a look at some of these other battles as we have Mohammed Irfan and Alexander LaRock, and we're going to see Michelle right in front of them, the Ferrari driver, who spun a little bit, so his tires are probably a little bit on the roasty toasty side, and LaRock in that NSX definitely getting a big fat toe with that Ferrari in front of him to help him out, as he's got Mohammed Irfan in that Aston Martin just hunting him down. And so it's definitely be interesting how LaRock can handle this as they work their way through the grid. It is 5:23 in game, and you can start to see the sun come up, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what that means. Skylight's just going to get even better with the sunlight, everybody. As Liam McNeil, number 325, looks like he lost it on the back end of the Mount Panorama circuit. He is all over the place. What a shame there. But this battle for P1 is really just developing. I'm definitely keeping an eye on it for those, just so you guys are all aware here. But right now, this battle for P8 is really developing with Irfan and LaRock on the downhill here, as the leaders now are starting to approach the back markers here. You can see them come through the chase. Aiden Hasselbrock definitely in hot lap mode as he is pushing as hard as he possibly can to chase Jaden Munoz. And Hasselbrock definitely wants to be able to do something here with everything as he comes around the bend. He is just not letting Jaden pull. He's like, I'm not, no, you stay there. And he is definitely holding it true. He wants to win this at Mount Panorama. He wants to showcase that he still is super fast in the McLaren before the new cars come out. He is definitely wanting to showcase his ability. And he is looking super strong, everybody. So let's take a look here. Where is some other closer battles here on track? Mr. Ethan Reed and Tim Wilkins here. The Porsche versus McLaren on the back straight. Here they go. This is for P21. Ethan Reed takes a look on the inside. He gets a big fat toe. Ooh, Tim cuts the door off. Ethan's going to switch back brake on him. Ooh, he's going to have to check out of that. Adeo dives into the pits. So he's going to be serving that. Casey Bennett still in the pits. Jashke and Liam McNeil have served their pits. They're down 2 laps. They had to serve a lot of damage, but anything is possible. For those that do not know, GT Meister Racing pays out for the top 22 points position. It doesn't really pay out. You get points up to the top 22. Ooh, side by side. Here they go. Oh, they are definitely. Ooh, Tim Wilkins knows the pace of that Porsche right now and that wing. He cannot hold it there with the McLaren. Hopefully he can make something stick there, as well as we see Chestnut and Brian Katz in the background. The 2 VR drivers going nose to tail. Here they go. Chestnut going for a shallow. Cat's going for a wide. Hendricks is in the pits. P11 is in the pits, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden Hasselbrock loses fastest lap to Jaden Munoz, but Aiden Hasselbrock still flying. He is 2/10 up on his. Ooh, as we see Jaden Munoz, Aiden Hasselbrock resets the fastest lap here in this race with that McLaren as he's following that Audi the best that he possibly can. It is still 5:27. The time has only moved a little bit. We have 40 minutes left to play here in this race. That McLaren he is not giving up on Jaden Munoz. He is like, I will make you work for this victory. I will make you work for this win. Matt Byrne on the back end of Robles here as well as he's chasing him down as he goes through. Welcome to the viewers. Welcome, guys, everybody, guys and gals. If you like what you're seeing, definitely click the follow button. Definitely join us here in this battle. As we get going here with 40 minutes left to play, 30 minutes left of the pit window, and things are just getting even spicier because Matt Byrne right now wants to get past this Audi. He is tired of seeing Audis in the way. Right now the top 5 is Audi, McLaren, and Ferrari with Christopher Schuffler in that P5 spot in that Ferrari ahead of Tyler Farmer in that P6 with the Honda. And Schuffler just wants to be able to he's hoping that he can get a big move from these guys and get a P3 here at the Mount Panorama circuit. So let's take a look here. Mohammed Irfan 6/10 back from LaRock. Michelle on the back end of Farmer here on the downhill section. Michelle trying to make it stick here as they work their way through down into the hairpin and around the bend. Ooh, a little bit of sparks here from the drivers. Let's take a look. Where's some, let's see, Andre Lloyd and Carter Bennett. Carter Bennett looking super good here with that Aston Martin here. Andre Lloyd 4/10 back from the Aston Martin, trying to get it to work here. I know he's been struggling a little bit to try to make something happen. We see, ooh, Carter Bennett catching a little bit too much curbing in that GTMR Aston Martin. The 720 car, here comes Andre Lloyd. He tries for the switchback. Ooh, he was trying to set up Carter Bennett. Did not look like it. Carter Bennett's definitely rolling good here in this race. Looks like we have Chestnut and Ethan Reed. Chestnut up there 5/10 ahead of him. Tim Wilkins in that P18 spot. Tim, ooh, he's got a lot of damage on that McLaren. He's definitely going to be needing to serve that in the pits as well, as we're going to jump right back aboard. Looks like Matt Byrne got past Santiago Robes as we see. Looks like Aiden's 4/10 back. He's lost a little bit. Schuffler and Robes. Schuffler now putting the pressure, and this is for top 3, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Robes goes super low. Oh, he gives up the position. He lost it in that corner. It wasn't his right to just keep going. Good on him for that. Missing his braking at Skyline. He's going to allow him through. So now Schuffler's going to have to push it as much as he can if he wants to catch Byrne here in this race. But right now the Audi of Robes is really on the back end of him. Michelle gets past Farmer for that P6 spot. Looks like Aiden Hasbrock lost 1.1 seconds to Jaden Munoz. Munoz managing to separate himself from them as they go through here. So right now we are looking some of the drivers. Ooh, Aiden dives into the pits. One of the first few front runners to go for this strategy. So probably thinking that he could probably get him on the undercut. That's definitely going to be an interesting one to say the least, because right now Jaden is open air for everything, to say the least here. As Mr. Schuffler trying everything he can do to separate himself from Robes. as they work their way down the back straight here, as Andre Lloyd still trying to catch up to Carter Bennett in that Aston Martin here at Mount Panorama with 36 minutes left to play. These guys are doing a spectacular job here in this race. A huge shout out to all the drivers that are participating. Andre Alex Afonso, the only Lamborghini driver, trying to keep up with Matt Artem in that new gear as well. Let's take a look and let's just see. Aiden Hasbrock is falling down. Of course, he's in the pits. So he is still sitting there. Carter Bennett is interesting. Okay, Hasselbrock is coming out of the pits. He is going to be, I don't know, I think this is Wilson Fernandez. I completely forgot the race today. Oh, it's okay, Wilson. It's all right, man. It's Mount Panorama. It's not a fun track. And here we have Aiden Hasbrock. He's coming out in P12. Looks like he's, no, P13. Oh, dominant square with a drive-through. As we see, oh, well, we have to wait for the timing board to repopulate. Because right now it's looking like Aiden lost a lot more places, which is definitely going to be an interesting one because he's on fresh tires. He's on the new fuel strat that he needs to be on. And this is just not, I don't know if this is really going to help him that much in this race, because with that strategy, he's 3.5 off the pace of Sean Newitz in P15. A lot of these drivers in the front have yet to pit, and right now his pace, this could come back and bite him in the butt, because if he's putting in the laps that he was putting in, which was he was putting in 202s and 201s in this race. I mean, and you're talking, let's see, Sean New did a 206.7. You know, Aiden's going to have to try to work through this field and this grid to try to make something happen. So that's definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least. As we see Dominant Square with a drive-through in the grid. So hopefully he's able to make it work and be able to keep going through here in this race. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Let's take a look here we have Andre Alex Afonso. He's 5/10 back. Carter Bennett, 2/10. Looks like Andre Lloyd managed to get past him as well. We do have a guest person to join us, and that is the man himself, Mr. Casey Bennett. Welcome to the voice chat, to the comms booth, actually. I think this is the first time I've been having you here. It is a shame. I did see you hit the wall. I was so sad, and it's my fault because I gave you the commentator curse. It's my fault.
No. I was fixated on Farmer, and he was struggling, and I just kind of followed his line and pushed a little wide and hit the grass and lost it there. Then Austin powered it, and I was like, all right, that's enough.
Well, you know, Mount Panorama is a very tough track. The drivers know that. I mean, what was the mentality of the drivers going in, because you were in the voice chat with them when, you know, I mean, I know some people knew that it was 5 a.m. because I'd set the server up for, hey, this is 5 a.m. practice time. This is for what the race actually starts. Were there a few people that were kind of caught off guard by the 5 a.m. start, or was kind of everybody like, all right, okay, we can do it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, in qualifying, I think the temperature was like 27 degrees or so. So I mean, to drop like 10 degrees Celsius, that's a huge adjustment, and I think quite a few people are going to be caught at it. And I think Aiden's one of them. I think he was probably either really under pressured, or even potentially way over pressured, and led to that undercut there. So we'll see how that works out for him in the long run.
That is very true. We did see him dive into the pits. He was one of the first ones. He's sitting there P14 right now, about 7.9 seconds from Joshua Piast. He is definitely lapping around 5 seconds faster than Piast in the Lexus. Wait, hold on. I'll give Joshua a little bit more credit. He is lapping right around 3 to 4 seconds faster than Joshua. But, you know, as we see, Michelle is in the pits, Irfan is in the pits. Mr. Shuffler, a driver that you have been bouncing ideas in with the 488 since the new DLC and the new physics and tire model came out. He's sitting up there in P3, 7/10 back from Matt Byrne, and he is flying in that GTMR Ferrari. For the viewers that don't understand, and for you as a driver that races in GTMR, Mr. Benham, talk us through like the challenges of the new tire model as well as the new physics for what has been brought to the game.
Yeah, the tires, you know, when they're on, you can really lean on them. Previously in 1.8, you know, the bump stops, you were just riding the bump stops everywhere. So you had a feel for the tires, but this new tire model with the new compound themselves, the sidewall flex and things of that nature, it's really just created a lot more options of tire management. So what I've been struggling with personally with the 488, which I can't wait to get out of at this point, is leaning on the tire, figuring out where that edge is. I can't quite feel it like I could in 1.8 in this car for whatever reason. So that's what they're really up against out there.
Oh yes, most definitely. I know when I did a little bit of early testing this week when the new DLC dropped, and I tried to drive the Mercedes because I had driven that during the Apollo, the ARC season. I noticed a massive difference where I was just like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Like, what's going on? Ooh, as we see Andre Alex Alfonso, he is trying to make something work with Matt Artem, utilizing, he now has a new DD wheel pedals and steering wheel. I believe it is the Estric company. So we'll definitely see how he's feeling after this race, because Mount Panorama is not the easiest one when it comes to if you're using a DD wheel and you're all the different forces and then the turning and everything, and just how this track is, especially if you tap a wall. But you know, Alfonso definitely looking super strong with that Lamborghini as well, being the only one here chasing. So I'm pretty sure he will be super excited for next season with the new Lamborghini, the new Evolution that is available for everybody. As we see the leader, Mr. Jaden Munoz, dives into the pits. Looks like Shuffler got around Matt Byrne. It's like Matt Byrne possibly had a little bit of an issue. So now that's going to slot Shuffler into P2. We see Rolbs. He dives into the pits. The team Munoz, some drivers, like I said, on the during the pre-race, there are some drivers that are running the same livery. So that's definitely going to be an interesting team strategy, I guess you can say.
Alfonso's in the pits. He's going for the undercut there on Artem.
Oh, yes, he is. He is in there with the Lamborghini. Definitely a nice showing of drivers here to come out and show for this race here. I know some drivers we lost due to racing conditions and, you know, things like that, but it's definitely awesome to see these drivers here racing with us. I believe we are at 22 right now, so it's definitely awesome to see everybody participate. So right now, your leader, Christopher Shuffler, in that GTMR Ferrari. I won't say much more. I don't want to commentate curse another Ferrari here.
It doesn't look like Aiden is going to get the undercut done on Munoz. He's long gone.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think when he came in almost a little too early. Should have prolonged it a little bit further and then proceeded, you know, to take the fight to him. As we see, let's follow back down the grid. Mr. Sean New, he has been really pushing the pace. I know he was really finding very, very strong amount of pace with this Aston Martin. I know the update has really made him struggle here in the league with the Aston Martin, but he's looking super strong. He's got Brian Katz right in front of him in that P18 spot, and these two guys, very good gentleman drivers, definitely very cautious with each other. They don't like to take super risks. And he's trying everything he can. And your son is up into P7. right now, and he still has yet to pit, so he may be able to pull off, because right now Aiden Hasselbrock is 30.6 seconds right behind Carter Bennett here in
Yeah,
P7.
he's trying to go long, which he's been struggling with Aston Martin, especially on this track alone. I mean, this track is so demanding for anyone. So, as he smashes that curb a little too much, but he's having a really good showing, especially with how frustrated he was earlier. It looks like he's diving into the pits now as well.
Yeah, it is definitely, it is, oh, as Sean New misses the braking mark, tapping the back end of Katz. He definitely is going to wait up for him and allow him through. Andre Lloyd in the pits. Carter Bennett is in the pits. Sean New is definitely not really feeling it. It is a very tough track, and it is one of the few tracks that I know drivers don't like it. I love it because it is such a physical and demanding track. It makes you actually, like, you really got to, like, force yourself and drive the car around the track. Let's take a look here as we go to Jacob Michelle. Mr. Michelle is now chasing down the back end of Mohammed Irfan here as he goes through here. So with the new DLC coming in to play, I believe tomorrow, Saturday night, we are racing at Valencia. Can you let the viewers know about that?
Yeah, tomorrow we're running a one-off race. We're going to do a 90-minute race at Valencia. There's no entry list, no force entry list. You can drive whatever GT3 car you want. We are limiting it to GT3s, though, so that no GT4s or Cup cars. But we want everyone to have a chance to drive the new cars, amongst our community here. It was unfortunate timing for the DLC to drop since we were in the middle of the season, but it's really mixed up the grid, as you can see here. So it'll be interesting to see what our first GTMR 90-minute kind of just exhibition type race, how it turns out. So I mean, it'll be a great time. So hopefully we can get more people out there.
Oh, it'll definitely be wonderful because I am definitely going to be able to get a chance to go out and race. I can't wait to drive the new Ferrari. The turbo, the blow-off valve sounds as we see Matt Artem dive into the pits. But yeah, no, the blow-off sounds are just, the car sounds phenomenal. And they all drive very well. I know you're looking forward to the 992 Porsche as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's my baby. I haven't even drove any of the other cars yet.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see how everything plays out with the new cars as well as they go through, as well as this season, because now with the update, it's kind of like real life. You know what I mean? BOPs come out, things change mid-season. You know what I mean? Tire brands come through. We see it in Formula One. Pirelli, I think for 1 year they came out with like 4 or 5 different tire brands. So everything is such a big toss-up as we start to see this battle for P9 between Andre Alex Afonso, Mohammed Irfan. The Honda driver now switched to Aston Martin driver this season with Mr. Jacob Michelle here. Ooh, super late on the brakes. Ooh, as Irfan loses the back end of it. Michelle being courteous. He is going to give the position back. Joshua Piast going super late. The P8 driver here in the Lexus still has yet to pit. Shuffler still has yet to pit. Matt Burns still has yet to pit, and Mr. Farmer still has yet to pit in the Honda NSX. I will have to say, Farmer has been doing a wonderful job with that Honda NSX, especially with all the amount of issues that he had during the practice and with the new update. So definitely awesome to see that he was able to kind of reel that car in and be able to make something happen with that.
Well, you're going to see a lot of that from every driver now. The people who really know how to set up a car, like in real life, are going to be much quicker because the car's going to respond more accurately with the tire model currently. And then there's no meta build. You can't just ride the bump stops like they don't compress in forever like they used to in 1.8, which was extremely broken.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to think about the travel of the car and how you want to handle the curbs, and then along with tire management. I mean, we're gonna see who can you know, is a hot lapper and who is more of just a racer at this point.
That is very true. As we see, it looks like Jaden Muno's teamwork play with Robes diving into the pits after Aiden Hasselbrock has played up. Aiden now 2 seconds off the pace. The sun is coming up here at Mount Panorama. You can start to see the sun start to clips off the back end. So hopefully we get a beautiful sunshine here going into this towards the end of this race. As we have 20 minutes left to play, ladies and gentlemen. As we see Joshua Piast still in the pits, Shuffler, Matt Byrne, still out there, you know, running very respectful laps, 202s here. Shuffler definitely has really picked up the pace here in so far in this league, and I honestly have to give him a lot of credit. He's been such a wonderful help with the league as well. He's definitely doing very, very good. As
I bet Burns in on this lap. Nope, Chris is diving.
We see, looks like Farmer's going to be right behind Aiden Hasselbrock as they work their way up the hill. So right now, here comes the interesting part. The grid is spread out. Some of the drivers that have served their pits, some drivers that haven't served their pits. These guys are going to be trying to figure out a way to make it work here to get around the track. I know some of the fast guys, they want to go get, like, you know, catch up, get through, and move on. But this isn't, you know what I mean? Some of these guys, it's going to be a little bit different here.
Let's see what Matt Byrne can do here on this lap where he doesn't have anyone right in front of him. You know, the McLaren that didn't get talked about a whole lot, but I mean, it's got some work done to it now. It's not quite the Evo model, but it's pretty rapid.
It is. It has a what I like to call the broken traction control system, where if you put your foot down, it goes. It's really weird. I don't know. For me, it really is a bit broken, because I know when I was driving it and I put my foot down, it just went. Like, there really wasn't a whole lot of wheel spin like you feel some other cars go for it. I will say it is super stable. It is, but I do know from my personal experience, when you try to drive it with more of like the eSports setups or the meta setups of 1.8, it was almost like it was a knife's edge. Like, it was almost too loose. It was almost too free, to say the least. So, but no, I think the car is doing, you know what I mean, is phenomenal, and it doesn't get a lot of the credit for what it is. Another car that I'm surprised that we haven't seen so far, as Byrne dives into the pits, that we haven't seen so far in this season altogether, is the actual BMW and Mercedes-Benz, which is very interesting because the BMW didn't get touched with the BOP adjustment, but the Mercedes-Benz, from what we saw and we read in, it's actually fully new, and it looks like your son, Mr. Carter Bennett, leapfrogged Andre Lloyd in the pits, and he is sitting there. Ooh, Andre Lloyd trying to make the move. They're going side by side up the hill.
That's a tough place to be.
Oh, ooh, Andre Lloyd. And a driver that we cannot count out is LaRock, one of the few Honda drivers that have been able to kind of figure out a thing with this car to make it stick and work for him as well as they come through here. The one thing I love about the night is you get fireballs and sparks. That's all you need as a streamer. That's all you need. Fireballs and sparks. And you can have a whole entire group watching with you.
The visuals of the mountain is just incredible, especially at night.
So Andre Lloyd losing a little bit of time to the Aston Martin, but it seems like the Porsche possibly, I've noticed, I think the Porsche possibly kind of got a little bit of a mini buff on its aero here, because even the older Porsches have a good amount of straight line speed here at Mount Panorama, or it could be the fact that the Aston Martin, you have to run a lot heavier wing to try to make that work because it's so raked to stick here at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, Carter had to add some additional wing because he was struggling to keep the rear end under control here. So as he squeezes Lloyd off there, it's a smart move, and then try to make him take the long way around. And
ooh, here they go.
For being 13 years old, he has some racecraft about him.
He does. He very much does. Let's take a look. Can Lloyd make it stick here as they come up to turn 2 here? This is the turn that really throws me off, and the only reason why it throws me off is because you could brake there 10 times, and 8 out of the 10 times you're always hitting the brakes all perfectly in the same way. Ooh, a little bit of back end step out of the Aston Martin with the Porsche driver on the back end of the heels of him. He is following super tight now.
Andre was complaining in the voice chat about how the car felt unstable and he was unsure of what it was going to do. So I think he's trying to play it safe somewhat and just kind of keep it on the road. I've raced with him many times, and typically if there's a gap, he's trying to go for it, but he's not very sure of this car right now. Looks like Matt Byrne had leapfrogged Scheffler in the pits there.
It does look like he leapfrogged him. Scheffler now 2.2 off the pace of Matt Byrne here as well. Right now the closest battle we have is Andre Lloyd. Ethan Reed trying to chase down Trinidad here in that Honda in the P15 spot. You definitely see Carter Bennett's F1 experience showcasing here as he's trying to shout out. Phantoms Motorsports, or AKA Mr. Andrew Jashke, shouts this out in the voice chat. Says, shout out to Exia, the best driver who's not allowed to drive. Thanks, Jashke. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Ben Fartman. I wonder where these guys come up with these Twitch names.
This battle between Carter and Lloyd here is bringing LaRock into it. He's just waiting for a mistake to happen.
And, you know, LaRock is very patient. You know that as well as I do. He's only going to make a move if he absolutely has to. But Carter is definitely putting on the moves for the 13-year-old on Andre Lloyd. Definitely picking his lines right, trying to not be very erratic, just sticking to what he knows. The interesting part is when the sun is coming up, will it catch him off in the last 10 minutes here in this race?
Oh, coming up over Skyline there,
yes.
That thing's just blazing in your eyes. You can't see anything. You just have to go off feel.
Take
Carter
a look.
Wide there a little bit. Lloyd backed out of it. But LaRock is being very patient here, just waiting to pounce on this opportunity. Looks like Ethan Reed just got by Trinidad as well.
Ooh, now Andre Lloyd. You can see him reeling in on the camera view. He's all over the back end bumper. He's going to take a look on the inside now.
Carter likes that wide line here. Oh, Andre backed out. Oh, he missed his brake mark. He's wide.
Carter saving it. That Fortnite reflexes. As James Park says in the chat, what happened to Aiden? I leave for a few minutes and now he's gone. What the hell? That is a very good question. I do not know what happened to Aiden. Possibly a disconnect from him. I know we haven't had any issues with connection so far with the server here. So that is definitely going to be an interesting one. Now, with this battle and the fact that Aiden has fallen, Andre has fallen off a little bit, LaRock is still on the outside looking in. All the drivers are setting the same lap times around there. It looks like Carter has set his last lap was a 2 minute 5.5. Andre was a 2:05.8, and LaRock was a 2:06.1. But of course, all of that can adjust depending on where the drivers sit. As we see, Matt Artem is now chasing on the back end of Mohammed Irfan. We had a yellow. It looks like it's clear now.
I was just riding on board with Sheffy, and he got caught up with some lap traffic, and that gap to the 715 cars come down a little bit.
From what I can tell, the Aston Martin can pull from the Porsche after this downhill hairpin and then up to turn 2. And then after that, the Porsche is what catches him.
He had a good exit there coming out of the forest elbow.
Ben Farman says, did I hear you say that right? Carter is only 13 years old. Yes, he is 13 years old, and he is definitely making Andre Lloyd in that 937 Porsche work for it here at Mount Panorama with 10 minutes left to play.
Oh, mistake by Lloyd.
Ooh.
Here's LaRock. LaRock's all over him. He's got him in this corner.
Here comes LaRock in the NSX, but Lloyd is going to make...
later.
Does the switchback work?
It does. He's got him. If he goes... He was a little too patient there on the throttle. But he's got the inside line. He's got it. Push him wide, and LaRock is through.
Oh.
Nope.
Here comes the drag race. And the tow. The NSX is going to need the tow.
What a bunch of clean driving by those two right there. I mean, one of them could have easily taken the other one out. Smart driving.
Very much so, and honestly, it was very clean driving, even in the beginning of the race. You know, I mean, you see a lot of the drivers filing in, nobody really making any mistakes on turn 1.
LaRock lost it.
Oh, now where's Kevin Yu? Kevin Yu is right there, so at least LaRock will have a little bit of a separation time in hopes, but there's cars coming, and LaRock's going to need to move as quick as possible.
He has to get out of the way. He's got to get out of the way. Not good. He's going to have to retire the car. Yep.
Oh, what a shame there. Hopefully he can get back out, but I know it's probably going to be a 2-minute. Oh, what a shame. Let's take a look. Who else do we have?
The real winner of that battle there was Carter. They hung each other up, and now he's got a 2-minute or 2-second gap there on Lloyd. So,
ooh, Mohammed Irfan in the pits.
Oh,
wonder what that is about. Could it be fuel?
He was struggling in practice and qualifying for his normal pace. He might just be struggling with the setup. He probably lost it somewhere.
That could be, as we see Jaden Munoz, your leader and fastest lap setter. He is sitting there with a happy 27 seconds ahead of Matt Byrne. He has had this Audi hooked all through free practice, all through qualifying, and he had a little bit of Aiden Hasselbrock pushing him through this race, so he's definitely had to encounter a little bit of push, so it wasn't fully given to him, to say the least. He actually had to put in a lot of work here in this race, but you see him here in P1, the 124, definitely looking super strong with Matt Byrne in the Picasso McLaren P2. He's catching up to Joshua Piask in the P12 car, so he is definitely looking super strong as well. Huge shout out to Joshua Piask, I apologize, for sitting there in that Lexus with some damage, as Byrne is working his way around the Lexus driver. The Lexus driver being P12. Definitely huge amount of points. For those that do not know, GTMR gives points out to the top 22, so he's definitely going to get a big haul for this season as well. Christopher Shuffler, I'm going to knock on wood for no commentator curse. P3, proud, looking super strong in the Ferrari, head down, focused, looking very, very good. Hopefully Hopefully he can keep this going throughout the whole entire season. I know we have Spa next, followed by a few of the other tracks, as well as Watkins Glen, our makeup race towards the end of the season. So it's definitely he's showcased a lot of pace and performance. I know he's had a little bit of a frustration here, depending on some tracks and some laps, but I think overall he is probably one of the biggest improved drivers here in this league.
Well, I totally would agree with that. This update has done numbers for Chris. It seemed to have eased his mind somewhat of how the car is operating. 1.8 just he didn't like it. He knows how to set up a car, and now you're getting actual feedback and response of what you're doing better.
As we see here, now we're going to jump down to P4, Santiago Rolbs. He's struggling right now with the car. You can just see it right now as I switch over to him. It is super twitchy. I don't think he's adapted very well to the new update as everybody else has with the Audi. He's had a few issues, and I mean he's had a very strong pace, very strong showing. Definitely happy to have him here racing with us as well. As we go over to Tyler Farmer in the P5 spot. Farmer, I mean, a huge shout out to him. Honestly, I'm gonna give him probably the most patient driver of the drive. The fact that how much they've had to nerf they nerfed the Honda and everything else like that, and he was able to kind of fight back on that, keeping that Honda lasting as long as he did, and he's doing. And he's hanging in there, and that's definitely good. As we see Josh OPS diving into the pit, he probably crashed or had some too much damage, and now he's going to be feeling it here with that Lexus. What a shame there for him.
How many racers did we start this race with, Exia?
32.
To have 17 drivers still going after a massive update like this is very impressive amongst this group.
Oh, very much so. Very much. I'm super happy and proud of the community to stick in and follow through. I mean, I'm sure as well, being in other leagues and racing. I mean, a lot of times when you have a massive update or a patch like this, your attendance drops, and this just shows how much the community, the drivers, you guys care about the league. And honestly, it's an honor to have you guys all here. And honestly, now back to racing. Andre Lloyd he's back on Carter right now with 4 minutes left to play, and the sun is starting to come out.
He better make that Aston Martin as wide as he can.
So as
Artem has fallen off the pace here a little bit. He's coming back to this group as well.
He is. It could be. We've heard it from Tim Wilkins. We've heard it from other drivers that switch over to the massive DD platform. Once you start, using that DD wheel, everything changes. As we start to see Andre Lloyd really wanting to make it work. Hey, we're in Carter's car. You see Andre Lloyd's on the inside of that car. I'm still a little upset with Porsche. They haven't added a TV screen for your rear view mirror. You're still stuck to doing the original way. But, anything is possible here. Ooh, Andre Lloyd looking. He's going for the tight roll. Ooh, Carter messed it up on the outside of that hairpin. Andre Lloyd now going to get the run on Carter.
The last couple times he's had the chance at this, he's backed out. So I wonder if he's going to stay in it this time. And he's backing out. That's just the commitment to the car. He's not comfortable in it. There's something with his setup that.
Ooh, Carter's losing it a little bit.
And
oh
no! Oh no!
Oh.
Lloyd's still going. It's a shame. Just a little bit of grass, that'll do it.
Yep, and especially catching that curb coming up to chase there. You can lose a lot of that there, but he's still, it happens to everybody. You know, we've seen it out of some of the faster drivers here in this race. So, I mean, other than that, he is doing a wonderful job. He's power throughing it. Awesome there with 1:50 left to play. Super happy to see him go through here. With 1:44 left to play, let's take a look here. Matt Artem in that blue Audi as he comes up to the hairpin. Ooh, Sean New is trying to do the Austin Powers in the hairpin. What a shame there for Sean New. Kevin Yu definitely having a good race so far. He is.
Oh, Sean's still in that corner.
Ooh. As long as he can hold it through with 1:10 left with all that front end damage, he can come home with a lot of points if he doesn't try to reset back to the pits. But you know, with the Aston Martin, you know what I mean, a lot of that pre-designed front end aero is super effective and efficient for it to work with here in this race.
He's got the leader coming up behind him. I hope he's paying attention to his mini map, because his car's not going to do anything to get out of the way.
Oh, and he is definitely moving out of the way for the leader. Huge shout out to Sean New for definitely reading that and moving out of the way. Let's take a look. Where is Joshua Piasek? He is just out of the pits and onto the back straight in P14. So Sean New is good because he's just got lapped by the leader, and Joshua Piasek, he can actually make this work here and score a lot of big points. Huge shout out to Jade Russell. The 234 Audi, he is stuck through the whole race. He's up to P16. He actually qualified back in, I believe, P29. He's up to P16. So for those that, you know, would possibly sit there and say, oh, well, you know, there's this, there's that. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean, the whole point of finishing Mount Panorama is the satisfaction of the endurance of it, even though it's a 1 hour race. And for him to finish where he is at, you know what I mean, in that P16 spot is super strong. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Munoz finishes your race in P1, and that's going to allow Sean New to lock in P13. Here comes Matt Byrne through the final corner. Jade Russell finishes the race, as well as Kevin Yu. Matt Byrne finishes in P2. Here comes Christopher Shuffler down into the final corner. He is going to bring the Ferrari home in P3, ladies and gentlemen, as he crosses the line. Santiago Robes in the Audi in P4 as he comes across the line to help out his fellow friend Jaden Munoz in P1. Mr. Farmer coming around P5. He is about to cross the line. He finishes P5. He is probably ecstatic, not knowing where he was originally going to finish. Jacob Michelle in the Iron Linux Ferrari. A lot of strong pace. Had a few issues with damage. Of course, this is Mount Panorama. It happens to all of us. He manages to bring the home car 6. Andre Alex Afonso, P7. He's coming through the chase. He is going to have, looks like it's going to be LaRock and Matt Artem together through the chase here. And Ethan Reed crosses the line. Andre Alex Afonso finishes P7. Here comes Matt Artem as he crosses the line with LaRock P8. Andre Lloyd P9 through the final corner. And then the 13-year-old himself, Mr. Carter Bennett, is the one driver we are waiting for down through the final corner. He is going to cross the line to finish out your top 10. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Round 6, Mount Panorama for you, everybody. And we're going to go through the order. Jaden Munoz, P1, Byrne, 2, Shuffler, 3, Robes, 4, Farmer, 5, Michelle, 6, Afonso, 7, Artem, 8, Andre Lloyd, 9, Carter Bennett, 10, Yu, 11, Reed, 12, New, 13, Piasek, 14, LaRock, 15, Russell, 16, Hendricks, 17. We did lose a lot of drivers, but these guys definitely showcased a lot of pace and performance. And definitely huge shout out just for everybody to come out and race, especially yourself. Casey, it is truly an honor to have you here in the booth with me. It is definitely a blast to have you here. Um, Definitely. So, for those that did not hear, Casey Bennett was telling us that tomorrow at what was it, 9 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m.?
8 p.m. standard GTMR time.
Okay, 8 p.m. standard GTMR time. We will be hosting a 90-minute race at Valencia. All of you guys are welcome to join us and race. Um, it's GT3 only, so you can run the older GT3 or you can run the newer GT3 if you want, like the 296 Ferrari, the new Huracan Evo 2, as well as the 992 Porsche, which Casey will most definitely be racing in. So definitely come join us. I mean, the server will be there will be no forced entry list, so you guys can all come in and join and race with us, and definitely have a blast and join the community as well. It definitely check us out. Tuesday nights we race GT4s. Friday nights we race GT3s. We're looking to soon open up a mini endurance series as well for the drivers here to race, as well as for you guys too. Um, and if you are on Xbox, definitely check us out because we also race Xbox too. We have a beautiful, a nice growing grid as well for that. So it's definitely be awesome to have everybody joining us and racing with us as well as as the community grows, we want you to be a part of it and race with us. I'm your host, Exia, with Mr. Casey Bennett has joined us as well for this one time only offer, I believe. But we will be seeing you guys next week as we go to Spa Francorchamps, which is one of my most favorite tracks, even though I cannot do Eau Rouge to save my life. So again, I want to say thank you guys for all the viewers watching. It has been a pleasure. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We will see you all later. Good night.